video is a study of Odafe Oweh, the edge rusher in 2023. A bit of a prediction, I think Oweh comes out and gets 8 sacks for the Ravens next year. He had 5 last year. He missed 5 games, 4 due to injury, and then he sat out the Pittsburgh game. He basically missed the Bengals game as well. I find Oweh a bit puzzling and certainly inconsistent as a pass rusher. Occasionally he'll put together a rush where he really looks like a world beater coming off the edge. This is one such rush. Off the ball, we see him get his hands into the frame of the tackle, underneath his pads, lifts him up, moves him outside, throws him, and then quickly transitions to a swim over the top and brings down the quarterback. Odafe is going to beat the left tackle, get a hit on the quarterback. I think he comes off the line with a plan here. Certainly not worried about reading. Gets off in a hurry, big strides. He's patient. Waits for the hands of the tackle to shoot, then chops them away. Again, he's got his hair on fire here. He's not reading. He's got a plan to win the edge outside. And he gets a quarterback hit. Odafe's standing at the line, pretty square to the right tackle. I'd like to see the Ravens have a plan to get him more rush snaps from inside the tackles. Just giving him a more direct look and path to the quarterback and the ability to use his quickness on those big bodies inside. See a jab at the tackle's outer half, then punches him in the chest. Rips down, and then that shoulder dip and speed is really what wins him this rep. The tackle has to hold him to avoid a big hit on the quarterback, and he gets flagged for it. Oweh's going to come off the ball here reading. Gets doubled by the wideout and the tight end. He's reading the backfield. Quarterback rolls just a little bit to his right. Throws the tight end. He's still reading the QB and the pocket. Watch this spin. Nearly takes the tight end's head off. Gets rid of him. He's going to flush the quarterback, and the Ravens get off the field. Odafe does flash an effective bull rush. A little late off the ball here, but pretty explosive getting into this tackle who's overset and leaning. Gets underneath of his pads. You can see what happens when the tackle gives up his chest. He gets driven back, knocked off the ground. Oweh locks out his arms completely, drives the tackle back into the quarterback. That makes a difference. That ball comes up short. It's another example of an effective bull rush. I don't think he does a good job really threatening the outside shoulder on either of these last 2 rushes. Pretty direct path. You do see kind of a head lean inside. And then he drives into the tackle whose arms are wide open. I'm not good with other teams' personnel. I think a lot of his production probably comes against lesser tackles. But he does a good job here. That's definitely him forcing the quarterback to step up. As a guy who was drafted in the first round, he's got to show up more consistently. He disappeared during the San Francisco game. And I'm not sure if I'll show any Chargers plays, but the left tackle for the Chargers dominated him, played with him all game, made light work of him. On this play, we do see evidence that he's starting to string stuff together. Starts again with a bull rush, wide arms by the tackle. Watch him grab the wrist of the outside arm, throw it, and then the shoulder dip to get hit on the quarterback. As someone who's exceptionally athletic, he does very little to scare tackles outside. He's not particularly bendy. He's a bit stiff coming around the corner. Does a better job here threatening outside. Turns in again with this bull rush. Tackle gets his hands off first. He's not able to lock out, but he does a nice job kind of countering that here with this club, with his outside arm, and then a swim to help close the pocket down. I don't think it's immediately apparent as you watch him in game, particularly as it relates to him as an edge rusher, that he is this supreme athlete. Running stunts and twists you would think would be something that he would excel at. I seem to remember him being successful in that regard in his first year, but in watching him in 2023, he really doesn't look explosive and doesn't seem to have a feel for it. Odafe certainly needs an inside counter. I think he needs to get off the ball better. You can see he's the last guy off the ball here. We'll see him at the top of his rush with a spin move. We'll get into his spin move in a little bit. I think Oweh needs to do more in the way of jab steps, fake leans, head fakes, these kinds of things as he approaches the tackle. Certainly needs an inside counter. You see him work his inside spin a good little bit. To me, this is something he's thinking his way through. It's not supernatural. I would say that that sums him up as a pass rusher. He's not the most natural pass rusher in the world. You want to see him attack the outside arm here. I'm sure that's what he's attempting to do. I think he's off balance in his spin very often. As someone who's extremely athletic, does not do a good job in dropping his hips. This is not a good selling job either. The tackle's not fooled at all. Watch him kind of jump back. Very easy for him to see this coming. You can see Oweh's off balance out of his spin. I do like the transition at the end when the spin doesn't work, though, to take the tackle's hands, throw them, and get outside of them. Another inside spin. This time he is successful, getting the tackle to buy outside. Go to cover him up right there. Does a good job swinging that arm around, stabbing the tackle in the back. He's got him beat, and then he stops as if he's surprised. I think some of that has to do with him not dropping his hips more on that spin. That's going to enable him to gain ground and spin faster. Watch as he comes out of this spin, he kind of stops his feet. Oweh's got to be able to make these gimme plays here. He's got the tackle wrapped. He's not blocked. He's a first-round pick, an edge rusher for the Ravens. He's got to make that sack. Seems like there's 2 or 3 plays like that each year where he just has to finish. This play in particular where he's unblocked, has the quarterback wrapped, he's just got to finish. There's obviously more to him as a player. The team values him as an overall outside linebacker for the Ravens. Obviously, there's more to it than just sack numbers. But in that sense, specifically, so far, he has not lived up to expectations. I started off the video saying he would get 8. If he's healthy, he'll get 5 more games to play in than he did last year. He'll also see more snaps, more playing time. You saw the numbers for his quarterback hits, sacks, tackles for loss, etc. go up, not coincidentally with his snap count. I think he sees more playing time, a lot more in terms of a snap count this year. I do think he finishes the year somewhere between 7 and 10 sacks. I'm going to say he ends up with 8. I'd like to see him improve his approach to the tackle. Certainly his getting off the ball needs to improve. He needs an inside counter, as I said earlier. I'm rooting for the player. I'm rooting for all those things to improve.